All of a sudden, summer vacation is nearing an end, and schools are gearing up for a new academic year. And with every new school year, there are always changes, new programs, and new ideas in the mix, to say nothing of new teachers, new members of sports teams, drama and theater events, and more. So as we near the day when school bells ring, literally or figuratively, we thought we'd visit several area schools and check in on what's new or coming up that students and parents may know about, but that the broader community may not. So we started with Burr and Burton Academy and met up with Headmaster Mark Tashjian, who got us up to speed on what's going to be different this year at the end of Seminary Avenue.
I think that we have a number of things that are particularly topical right now. I'm going to start with cell phones and cell phone policy because that's gotten a lot of attention as we've talked about cell phone addiction and distraction and the impact of social media on student learning. We studied this issue intensively this spring with the help of two student consultants who interviewed a multitude of students. And we found that, on one hand, the Burr and Burton community does really well in certain respects. If you come to our free periods, what we call flex block, if you were to walk into our lunches, you would see students sitting in groups, interacting, talking. What you don't see is this kind of stereotypical view that students are just wedded to their cell phones and looking at a screen rather than each other. It's quite to the contrary. In every good way, this is a very healthy social environment for students. At the same time, we also found, and again with students, through student interviews, we found that there is distraction in class, and it's hard to measure exactly how much, other than any distraction is unnecessary. Our classes are a place for learning and for focusing on the subject at hand. So what we're doing is implementing a policy of banning cell phones from classes. At the beginning of each period, the teacher will collect cell phones, all cell phones, put them in a box, teach the class, and then students retrieve them at the end of class. And universally, students recognize that will increase focus. I'm not saying that universally everyone likes that policy, because I think everyone likes to be attached to their cell phone, including adults. However, we think this will be a really nice step towards enhancing the learning environment in each class, while also respecting the students' desire and in many cases need to be able to communicate with families or with each other or with their coaches throughout the school day. So we think this brings a nice balance and moves us forward and towards more focused classes. We're renovating the Smith Center for technology and communications, and we're turning it into a STEM center. We're turning it into an integrated facility for the teaching of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And that's part of a school-wide initiative that's been going on for years of creating greater opportunities for subjects to be integrated. We believe that integrating disciplines creates more authentic learning opportunities for kids. It puts things in context rather than learning specific disciplines on their own. And by restructuring the spaces in the Smith Center, we're going to be able to offer more technology-oriented and integrated-oriented courses that will better prepare students for the world that they're facing, which is increasingly a technologically driven world. So we're really excited about that. We'll have completed phase one of the renovation this year, and then we'll be fundraising and driving towards completing phase two of the renovation next summer. So one way we're reducing technological use is to ban cell phones from classrooms, but we're enhancing our education around science, technology, engineering, and math through this renovation, and then bringing in new courses into the fold. A third area I want to mention is the presidential election, and I think any of us who are paying any attention at all recognize that we're in the midst of an unprecedented presidential election with the most eventful summer, maybe in the history of all presidential elections. We also know that as a country, we have seen an increase in the divide between the so-called left and the so-called right. And we as a school, this idyllic school and this idyllic community, need to be able to manage those divides for the greater learning of students. People who believe in diversity in any way, shape, or form believe that diversity increases learning. And diverse opinions are very much a part of diversity. So our challenge as a school is going to be to enhance dialogue, role model dialogue, help students sort through fact and fiction, and help them develop their perspectives based on facts and based on credible news sources, particularly in a day and age where we're all flooded with news and with different sources of information. So we want to make sure our teachers and our students are working together to enhance dialogue with the goal of deepening our understanding. I think I'm not alone in thinking that if we adults were better at listening to people who view the world differently, who view candidates differently, if we got better at listening to them, it would further and deepen our understanding. And I think all too often, one side writes off the other side as stupid or uninformed or malicious in some way. And if we can help students approach those discussions with a presumption of good faith, they can then learn from each other, and they'll be better. They'll form different opinions, or they'll be better at persuading those to come around to a different point of view. So that's how I hope we can use this presidential election and other topics, including the Israel-Gaza Middle East situation, other really difficult topics. If we can learn to have dialogue and respectful dialogue across difference, that is a tremendous tool for our students to emerge and move into the world with. I think it will make us a better world. What we are putting on pause is the Mountain Campus semester program. Each semester we've offered the Mountain Campus as an offering, and it's been an intensive offering where students either go to the Mountain Campus for all their classes or they stay on the main campus. Over time, we've seen, quite simply, not enough students taking advantage of what is really a gem of a program. And one semester last year we had 9 students. It's just not enough to justify the cost of the program. And we have a tremendous responsibility to our donors and to our taxpayers to run a school that is not only the best school we can imagine, but one that spends dollars wisely. So we're pausing that program in order to rethink how we're offering it so more students want to participate and more students can participate. I expect us to relaunch in some form a year from now. And I'd be happy to cycle back and talk to you about that. And in the meantime, we have this beautiful facility. It's a LEED Platinum certified facility surrounded by 100 acres of forest, surrounded by thousands of acres of national forest. And we still have that facility. It's being used all summer. It's being used by the Taconic and Green Middle School Success Program. It's being used by our own success program, Student Success Program. We'll use it for orientations, and we're using the facility for leadership retreats and other gatherings throughout the year. So actually this year, I expect more students will be exposed to the Mountain Campus than ever before. But the program itself is something that we're going to rethink and redesign with the benefit of the time we have this year, so that we can do it in a way that makes economic and educational sense. And they both have to make sense.
And just finally, what's the anticipated enrollment going to be this coming year?
Burr and Burton continues to grow. I expect our enrollment to land somewhere between 775 and 780 students. So we're right in that range. That's up 20 to 25 students from last year. So we continue to experience growth. It's healthy growth. Families move into this area and move into our sending towns in order to access Burr and Burton, and we want to continue to be a source of pride for our community.
We'll be checking in with other school leaders over the coming weeks to learn more about what the local schools are doing to prepare for the 2024-2025 school year. For the GNAT-TV News Project, I'm Andrew McKeever.